the Sacramento sewage is really not doing too
In the
well.
blink of an eye, everything went wrong. They realized that there was a car following them.
Okay, so hello friends, my name is Haley and I am your host presenting to you today with my extra
With a line.
who goes by Gianna sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any idea what I have in store for you today?
No, not today, no.
Okay.
I mean, every other day I haven't known either, so...
but especially
But
today.
especially today, nothing. No
Okay,
idea.
I'm also hoping that this mic is picking up the
Sirens!
of me living in the actual hood.
It's we in the ghetto. Ra-ta-ta-ta. Is that what that Vine is, right? Or not Vine, TikTok, right?
Vine and TikTok are the same thing.
Yeah, they really are. I think they're... Is it... What type of company is it?
Twitter.
No. TikTok is owned by...
Musically.
Russians, maybe?
That's not where this is going.
You're gonna have to cut this part out, too.
Oh, fuck. 'Cause the
Russians. Musically.
The Russians are gonna kill us.
Yeah, they're gonna come. Men in Black are gonna come and kill our ass and stick a probe right up there
For her stupid body.
for our stupid body.
Okay, so bringing it back around to the actual reason we are gathered sketchily in my kitchen nook today, I have a story for you. So last time I told you a story about a haunted building.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing that today.
Today is a different one.
Today is something completely different. So I wanted to mix it up, but it's still close to home. Okay?
So in Ohio or
In Ohio.
bordering? Okay.
In Ohio.
Okay.
So, have you ever heard of the Bricca family?
The Bricca family?
Bricca.
Mm-mm.
Bricca.
No, never.
Okay, well, then you're going to today.
I'm gonna go for a whirlwind.
You are. So I'm not going to tell you shit. So we're just going to get into it.
Okay.
So the year is 1966.
Okay.
3 years after our dear friend Belinda was born.
Mm-hmm.
So a young father by the name of Jerry Bricca was going about a usual workday on September 25th.
Mm-hmm.
He was 28 years old. He worked as a chemical engineer at the Monsanto Plastics facility. And this is 30 minutes outside of Cincinnati.
Oh shit, it's right there.
Right there.
Huh.
So it
It's
was
our next door neighbor.
our literal next door neighbor. Work on a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And he found himself on his way home to his wife and 4-year-old daughter around 8 p.m. that Sunday evening. He did normal dad things, and he went to UDF, and he got some milk, and then he ended up going home from there. So he had a 3-bedroom tri-level house on Greenway Avenue in the Woodhaven subdivision, and that's where his wife Linda was waiting for him, folding laundry and watching TV with their daughter Debbie. And I kept wanting to write Little Debbie as I was doing these notes.
Like the little cakes?
Like
little
the
Debbies?
cakes, yeah, Little Debbie's. Okay,
Debbie. Also, how old is she?
4.
That's a horrible name to name your 4-year-old.
Yeah, Debbie.
Like, you're not a
She-
Debbie until you're like 40.
Right, you don't hit Debbie set like a Karen.
Yeah, you're not a Debbie until you're like 40. That's
yeah,
just
that
a fact.
you don't get your actual title as a Debbie.
Yeah, no.
Well, she, like, witnesses, like, people who knew her were like, she spoke older than she was, and she wanted to be called Carol.
Debbie the 4-year-old wanted
Wanted
to be called Carol.
Carol,
What
yeah.
in the fuck?
So she was like, I mean, I guess the name was fitting for a 4-year-old because she acted like she was 40.
Because she was a Carol.
Because she was a Carol at heart.
And a Debbie.
And a Debbie all at the same time. So the young family was just the average, everyday American household. With average, everyday things, when Jerry got home, he remembered that Monday morning was trash day. So he took the trash cans out, and when he was doing that, he saw his neighbor who was out walking her chihuahua. And she was like, hey, hello, what's up? Went on about her business. She had to hustle because she had to get back inside before her TV show came on. Which, I mean, I get.
Oh, the days. The days when you had to make sure that there wasn't Netflix
There
or
was not
Hulu
Netflix.
or
Exactly.
Sling TV. You didn't have any of that.
No, so homegirl was like, I have to be back inside
Yeah.
by 9 p.m.
Mhm.
because I have to watch my goddamn show.
Little House on the Prairie, you ain't.
You ain't fucking around.
Yeah, no.
Chihuahua better do her duty quick because we gotta watch that shit.
Yep.
So she obviously hurried back inside to go watch Little House on the Prairie or whatever was on.
Let's say Little House on the Prairie.
We're gonna call it Little House on the Prairie. It's definitely not
No.
Little House on the Prairie, but it was for the sake of this story. So she went back inside, but she had absolutely no way of knowing that she would be the last one to see any member of the Bricca family alive. And she also didn't know what unsolved mystery was about to take place and baffle everybody for 53 years. Like, we're gonna get into it.
It's Spook City!
Spook City is coming. No one knows what happened after Jerry went inside his home that night, but what we do know is that 2 days later, on September 27th, the body of Jerry, Linda, his wife, and Debbie were discovered inside the house.
How many days later?
2.
Oh, those things are rotted. Are there squirmy wormies coming out of them?
So a couple days after Jerry was last seen alive, his neighbors started to get a little suspicious because the trash bins were still out at the road. And everybody was like, that's not normal, because Linda Bricca was, quote-unquote, religious about bringing the trash cans in. So...
Yeah, I know those type of people.
Exactly. And another thing to note, no one heard the dogs barking. The family had 2 medium-sized dogs. No one heard them barking. And by Tuesday night of that week, everybody on the block knew that there was something wrong.
Fishy.
Yeah, the lights in the house had stayed on, newspapers piled up on the front porch, and now the 2 dogs were heard barking, but, like, incessantly, which was completely... Boys. Yeah, so concerned neighbor Betty Meyer told her husband Dick that there was something really wrong. Sorry that his name is Dick.
I heard he's a dick. Bad joke.
Bad joke, bad time. So yeah, her fears were only worsened when Dick called Jerry's place of work, only to be told that Jerry hadn't shown up for work in 2 days. Yeah. So by 10:30 p.m. that night, 2 neighbors decided, just for giggles, they're gonna go knock on the door. Despite all of the lights inside the house on, no one came to the door when they knocked.
That's like me when Jehovah's Witnesses come.
Exactly.
I'm fucking locking that door
I
up.
run.
I got the top bolt down and I got the like doorknob.
Yes, you lock the entire thing.
Like,
you close the blinds.
Yes.
You hide in the basement.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
what I did at Mom's house.
Yes.
Anytime they'd come, no way.
Yes, I don't want to talk to those JWs.
No, they're great. Some crazy motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So finally, after standing there, nobody coming to the door, they tried to open it, and after, like, they tried the handle, the door did open. Okay, it wasn't locked. And after the door opened, a putrid smell radiated from inside the house.
Oh.
Yeah. Luckily, one of the men, Mr. Meyer, was a World War II veteran, and he knew what that smell meant, and they didn't go in. So they closed the door and called the police.
Good. You don't need to cross-contaminate that shit. It's a crime scene.
Yeah, so at least there was something...
Sort of knowledge, or...
At least he didn't have to, like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like...
Well, and also, like, you contaminate a crime scene.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. At least they just shut the door, walked away.
With, like, Jean Benet, like, her crime scene was fucked.
Oh, yeah. But this one is
Yeah.
too. This one is too.
This one's fucked, too.
We're gonna cross that bridge.
I
We're
read
gonna
your
go there.
mind.
We are going to go there. So when the police arrived, Meyer and the other neighbor Jansen were led into the house by detectives to identify the bodies. So they ended up having to go into the house anyways. Right. Myers was later interviewed, and he said that he'll never forget seeing the bodies of his neighbors covered in blood. And he gets tears when he thinks about what those bastards did to the little girl.
No. Did they touch her?
No.
Oh, God. Okay.
So...
I mean, like, still, oh, God, that she got murked. But, like, thank God they're not touching her.
Right. So... people in, like, the outer suburbs assumed that they were safe, and this was, like, a pretty scary wake-up call. Because people were terrified. The West Side had been, like, a quiet part of town, but the Clifton, Walnut Hills, and downtown areas were plagued by the serial killer known as the Cincinnati Strangler during this time. So everybody's
Cincinnati
like,
Strangler?
yeah, the Cincinnati
Here?
Strangler. Cincinnati.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that.
Really? I may have to do an ep on it, a potty ep.
Let's do a potty on it.
Okay, I'll do a
I
potty.
also am, like, so oblivious to, like,
Everything.
every sort of crime that I think has
Ever
even,
happened?
like, yes. Literally. Like, the Golden State Killer, I know about him.
Yeah.
And obviously Ted Bundy. And
Ted Bundy tapes, fuck me up.
Yeah. And there's a podcast called The Golden State Killer. I think. And it talks about, like, him and, like, how he got caught, all of the above, like...
That's just crazy.
Yeah.
DNA, right?
Yeah, DNA, yeah. But Homeboy, like, we should do one on him, but, like, his whole semi was, like... Because he was a truck driver.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd pick up prostitutes and, like, murk them. And then leave their bodies on the side of the highways, like, wrapped in, like, sleeping bags or whatever. And, like,
anytime I see, like, a bag or a blanket when I'm driving, I'm like, there's a fucking body in there.
100%.
But I never stop. Is that bad? Should I stop?
No. Do you want to touch that? No. And then you could also, you'll be a suspect. Like, you could have no ties to that person. You find them, instant suspect.
Yeah, but I mean, if it helps, like, bring closure to the fact that somebody was literally murked and thrown on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't
wouldn't
do it.
stop. I don't stop for anyone.
I mean, that's true, but my thing is, like, I probably should stop because people throw, like, puppies and kittens out the window, too.
True. Very true. But,
I'm not that brave. Who the fuck am I talking about?
I wouldn't get out of the
I'm
car.
not gonna open a bag if I see a bag on the side of the road.
And there's, like, intestines in there.
Yeah.
But anyways, his truck, like, so all truck drivers own, like, their truck part, or they can, like, lease it or rent it or
Like
something.
the cab part?
Yeah, the cab. His whole cab was filled with, like, undies and, like, women's
Souvenirs.
clothes and, like, souvenirs. Yeah.
Did he wear them?
I'm not sure, they didn't talk about that, but, like, he said it was his girlfriend's, but everything was a different size. So, like, he was getting a little bit of this, he was getting a little bit of that, you know? And he kept other things.
That's so fucked up.
Yeah, we should talk about it.
Okay. Obviously not after, because we're doing a murder case now. We're gonna wait. We're gonna do something that doesn't involve people getting slain next time. But yeah, we'll have to.
We should.
Same with the Cincy Strangler too. We'll do that too.
Yeah, we have to.
Okay, so bringing it back around, people in Cincinnati were buying tear gas, shotguns, pistols, ammunition. The SPCA stated that large dogs were being adopted at a surprisingly high rate.
Good for them.
Yeah, really. So, I mean, that's good marketing for adoptions, you know.
Get a killer out there.
Right? Petitions were going around for more streetlights, which, go for it. We need them. So,
Yeah, it was probably dark as fuck during that time.
yeah, no, I'm sure, for sure it was.
You could see all the stars in the sky.
Yeah. Light pollution, hey, 2020.
2020.
Back to the actual crime scene. In the master bedroom, they found Jerry and Linda stabbed to death. Jerry was found face down, his shirt completely drenched in his own blood. Linda was found sprawled across her husband in her nightgown, robe pushed aside to reveal stab wounds in her chest.
Jeez.
Yeah. In the next room, young Debbie was found crumpled against a wall as if she had just been thrown there. She had been stabbed in her back so violently that the blade had completely spliced through her body.
They hated Debbie.
They did not like little Debbie.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Those cakes are pretty good, so I'm not sure what their dilemma is.
Oh, fuck. Maybe she told them her name was Carol when they were like, G.O.
They're like, I killed a Carol last week.
Exactly, you're done for. Yeah,
4 years ago.
4 years to the date.
And you reincarnated as her.
Yeah, because she was 4. I didn't even think about that. Did you think about that when you said it? Okay, fuck, damn it. Shit.
That's okay.
The scene was so gruesome that a detective was seen by reporters running out of the house and vomiting in the front yard.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, because you have to think they were in there for 2
I'm
fucking
sure.
days.
I'm sure it smelled
Topsies.
foul.
Yeah, so the 2 family dogs were found in the basement playroom, hungry, but they were alive. And something worth noting is that one of the dogs, Dusty, a medium-sized poodle, was known to bark and bite anybody who tried to come close to Linda.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, how was the killer able to get them separate? Like,
They know that.
they had to have known each other. Like, that was, like, this ongoing speculation.
Oh, maybe she had a mistress. A mistress? Yeah? Can it be used for men and women?
Why not? It's 2020.
They got a fuck buddy.
fuck buddy.
They got a daddy.
Which really was one of the rumors, one of the speculations going around.
Oh,
because,
it was?
Yeah, Jerry was considered like a workaholic, and Linda was like fucking hot as shit.
She's trying to get her dick wet. Yeah, I get it.
Exactly. We don't know for sure if sister was trying to hustle, but that's what a lot of speculations were.
Yeah, she's trying to get her dick wet.
I mean, that's your prerogative.
Yeah, I get it.
By late Wednesday, they were able to conclude that the family had been attacked sometime between 10 p.m. Sunday night and 8:30 a.m. Monday morning. They also determined that the murder weapon was a 5.5 to 7-inch knife, the same size as a carving knife that was missing from the home.
Classic, getting the weapon from the home.
From the fucking home. Both parents may have been bound with adhesive tape because there was like a small piece of tape on Jerry's face, and there was a sock stuffed in his mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both parents sustained something they called penetrative head wounds by a weapon that was not a knife. And so, like, during the autopsy, they deemed this as unspecified mutilations. Both the front and the back doors of the home were found closed, but they weren't locked. And robbery may have been a motive, or what they called a partial motive.
Okay.
Because there was no money in the house, and Jerry's empty wallet was found on the bed, and the coroner did say that Linda had been raped, but other reports later came out to say she just had recent intercourse, so that could have meant that she had sex 48 hours before she was killed, and it would still, you couldn't really tell. Right. So that really fueled the fire that people were like, oh my god, she was having an affair.
Right.
Because, I mean, we just don't know.
She could have just been with her mans.
Right.
You don't know.
It's really unclear of, the timeline and everything like that. So that's all I'm going to say about that right there. So right away, theories started coming out. Did the killer know the family? There are several factors that did point in that direction. Like, the house was searched, but not ransacked. It seemed more like
they were looking for something.
They were looking for incriminating evidence for themselves and their identity and getting it out of the way, getting it out of the house. Aside from, like, robbing them. It doesn't look like they were looking for, like, jewelry, valuables. They were just like, boop, 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 boop.
That, I am in that picture, bloop.
Yeah, I don't know what they were going through. And again, the dogs. So the dogs are often aggressive towards strangers, and they usually had full run of the house. Yet when they were found, they were locked up in the basement, and no one heard them barking Sunday night, the night that the family was murdered. Not to mention, no one heard anything from the house, and the houses are like 15 feet apart.
Right,
so
no one made a peep.
No one heard anything, so there was no sign of struggle, no one heard shit, so they assumed that the killer was, like, let into the house.
Right.
Obviously, everybody was grasping at whatever straws they could. So Valerie Percy came into discussion. So Valerie was a 21-year-old who was found beaten to death in her bedroom of her suburban Chicago home the week before the Bricca murders. So the connection between the Briccas is slim, but Valerie did attend the same high school that Linda did. And, like, they weren't, like, even in the same graduating class. Like, Valerie attended the same school 3 years after Linda graduated.
But so the odds, too. Like,
right.
She's in Chicago. I mean, it's just bizarre. She's in Chicago. The same thing basically happens. It just...
Just thought it worth noting. Turn page.
It's very interesting. Were they, like, did they have the same features? Like, were they both blonde, blue eyes?
That I don't know.
Okay.
But I do know that Valerie's dad was kind of like a big upper in Chicago.
Okay.
Like, he had a lot of political pull.
Oh, so it could have been a couple of different things.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like I said, nothing really came of that connection. But authorities really were considering every possibility. Because, I mean, it was just, who would do this? So, the public's favorite rumor was that the main suspect of the investigation was Dr. Linger, I think, of Glenway Animal Hospital. And the reason why everybody's clinging onto this is because that's the clinic that Linda worked at.
And he's the doctor?
He was the vet at this clinic. So everybody is like, ooh.
And he's a single bachelor.
No, he was married, I
Oh.
think.
Hmm.
Yeah, so things really didn't look great for him because, I mean, he was, air quotes, kind of the only person who wasn't eliminated as a suspect.
Mm.
But he wasn't eliminated because he lawyered up, like, real quick in the investigation. So people were like,
Yeah,
Is
that
that-
doesn't look good. That's not
is
look
that
good.
is that allowed?
Is that allowed?
Things looked even worse because he refused to make any kind of comment on his relationship with Linda, like, at all. He didn't say shit.
If you were just coworkers, you'd be like, yeah, we're just coworkers.
Right, so it looks super sketchy.
Yeah.
And he didn't submit any blood, hair, or fingerprints for analysis. He would not do it. Right. Investigators thought they had their guy, but their suspect refused to talk, and they were working on nothing but circumstantial evidence, so they couldn't go and serve this guy and be like, you're coming to jail, because they didn't have anything to prove he did it. They said that they didn't publicly name who the person was, so, like, the press were just making assumptions.
Right.
So it would be like, oh yeah, the main suspect, and then, like, a couple lines later, it would be like, Dr. Fred, blah, blah, blah. So they were really pointing their finger hard at this guy, but there's no way to prove that he did it or didn't do it, actually.
So homeboy got blamed.
Right.
And he wasn't even found guilty.
He was not. He was not found guilty. Chances are that the police talked to the killer. Like, they had to have. Because they looked at everybody who came into contact with the family.
Right.
They looked at Linda. They looked at Linda's beautician. They looked at their mailman. They looked at, like, the guy who brought the morning paper. Like, they talked to everybody. So today, obviously, the case remains unsolved, and police denied that they narrowed in on a suspect back in 1996. In 1990, Linda's family tried to get the case reopened, but the request made it to Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, and then they told them to drop it.
Oh,
So-
no. And then it went cold.
Yeah, it's been cold ever since. No one wants to talk about this case, but nobody really, like, knows why.
Right.
One of the neighbors who discovered the bodies allowed one of the police detectives to use his phone, and he overheard some kind of conversation, and he noted that the detective complained to his superior about the lack of procedure being followed by the county investigators.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a good chance that some evidence was probably destroyed.
Tampered with, yeah.
Destroyed, tampered with. You probably don't have. And the fact that we don't know when they were killed. Like, the neighbors waited a while to call somebody because they didn't really know. So that's 48 hours into the investigation. Your evidence dries up.
Yeah.
So they don't have really good odds, basically. Multiple authors have written about this case. The only book I've read about it is the Queen City Gothic that I was telling you about by J.T. Townsend. He mentioned that this was the only jurisdiction to turn down his file request during his research for the book, and this book covers like 30 other murders.
Wow.
Yeah, but they were the only ones to be like, no.
Spooky.
Yeah, isn't that so fucking strange?
That's very interesting. Why is everyone protecting this case so much?
Right, that's why I'm like,
People know it's like been passed down from family to family. And
yeah, somebody knows something, but there's that. The suspect that they had in the 60s passed away in February of 2004. More on that. So there is some now credible evidence that the prime suspect and his wife traveled to Cincinnati, checked into a hotel downtown, tied plastic bags around their heads, and took an overdose of morphine in the hotel room.
Jesus
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah, Jesus fuck is right. So he died, his wife didn't, and she fell into a coma until December of 2004 before she finally passed.
They big committed suicide.
Like, who does that? I don't know.
The whole bag thing's a bit much.
Isn't it?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
but fuck, how could you not? But
They
honestly,
they put a Kroger's bag right up on there.
yeah, Kroger, Cincinnati.
Yes.
It's a
That's a
downtown,
Kroger bag.
downtown hotel. That
That's-
shit's closed. I
that's
just
a
spit in your fucking eye.
Yeah. That's a fucking Kroger's bag. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. It was a straight shot. It's okay. It's okay.
It's just a very extra lubricant for your eye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My lids were getting stuck to my eye,
Well,
so I needed extra liquid.
No, they're not. Now they're
No, they're
fine.
not.
Now they're golden, even.
Yeah, dare I say golden.
They're moist as fuck. I'm gonna, like, direct my stream
It's
this
okay.
way.
It's okay.
Oh, God. Okay, moving it back. Obviously, no new information has come to light about this case. There are plenty of rumors about who did it and how they did it and why they did it,
Right.
but we're never gonna know who did this horrible thing and robbed an entire family of their lives.
That is so crazy.
Yeah, and it's, like, happened, like, really close to where my mom grew up.
Wow.
Like, and it's, like, a big thing. Like, you ask.
Has she heard about it?
I don't know. I'll have to ask her.
Yeah, you should ask her.
I'm sure that she has,
Probably.
because she's lived here for so long, and, like, it's a very, very talked about thing. Like, it's like one of, like, the local legends, but it's just, like, one of the officers denied, like, pretty much, like, any kind of, like, involvement with the case. He was just like, oh
What?
yeah, well, we did cover it, but
Just grazed right over it.
right. And he was just like, the guy who wrote this book. Oh yeah, so another thing, there are pictures of the people in the house in here.
Ooh,
So
let's see 'em.
another thing worth mentioning, the house is, like, pretty much identical to what it looked like when the murders happened. The only thing that really changed was they added, like, a front porch to it, and that's, like, the one thing. So here's a picture of Mr. and Mrs. Bricca. This is their wedding picture. So why don't you just go ahead and tell the potty people what you see?
Okay, so the husband's on the left, the woman's on the right. They're both smiling, actually pretty big. And she's got a veil on her head. And they look pretty happy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is their wedding day.
Yeah, she looks like a babe, though.
Below is the little girl Debbie, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
And it says April 6th, 1967. Wow.
Yeah, that's when it was, it's a, like, newspaper cutout that
Yeah.
was, like, Xeroxed into the book. So that's pretty nice. They also have, like, pictures of, like, the back of the house
Yeah.
as well.
This looks like a typical Cincinnati house, this
Mhm.
house right here.
It does. It really does.
It does. With the front porch and the garage. And
Like-
I'm assuming that's like a bedroom above the garage.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, like, the exact, like, layout of the house. I'm sure that there was probably some kind of report you could find online.
Yeah. It looks like it would be like a 3-story-ish. So it looks like there's probably like maybe 2 bedrooms upstairs. And there's definitely like some sort of basement because
Yeah,
when you
'cause-
look at the
And there's, like, that's where they said dogs were being kept.
yeah, oh, in the basement. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
In the basement playroom and things like that. Look at, like, their fucking fedora ass hats.
Yeah, they look like the Men in Black.
They literally do in one of these pictures.
They're probably smoking a cig waiting at the door.
A little siggy sig. Yeah, but the patio lights had been on for 2 days, and that's why they were like, oh, okay, there's almost a whole bunch of shit going on there. So if you want to read this book, you can take it home with you if you want to read it.
Yeah.
Queen City Gothic, J.T. Townsend, and that basically just covers, like, a whole bunch of unsolved mysteries.
You can hit it when there's before I read it. I think we should.
Oh, yeah, because there's one that I really wanted to cover by the Stringer Cemetery. That
In Cincinnati? Dude, what the fuck? How do I not know all these Cincinnati?
exactly. It's we have a dark history
Yeah.
here in the Nasty Natty.
Mm-hmm, apparently.
Yeah, no, we do.
And I didn't even know. I'm over here
You never
like,
know about it.
"Mm,
A
we
little
have-
teeny bop.
We have Fiona.
Woo, the hippo, everybody, Harambe! Woo.
Harambe was not in Cincinnati though.
Yes, yes. Cincinnati Zoo.
Harambe was at Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
For some reason I thought it was at the Columbus Zoo.
Nope.
Damn.
Yeah, because you know how the zoo got a whole bunch of, like, the monkeys? Like, the whole gorilla world, that was all redone?
No.
Because now if
I don't
you
go to the, I have actually been to the zoo probably like twice in my
well,
life.
the last time we went was for the Festival of Lights.
Yeah.
And they have, like, it's like a glass wall now. And you can see into
oh,
the
you
enclosure.
it's like one of those you walk over to it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I think that we saw it because we took it with Kieran, and it was the first time that it was, like, open.
Okay.
Because they opened since the Harambe incident.
I
because
know,
they
and there were
closed-
turtles like going like this with their backs. No, that was in
No.
Amsterdam.
I was like, what?
That was like the last zoo I've been to. So I'm like, the turtles are like this in the water, like rubbing their backs on the water.
No, I don't think they were.
no,
they were
no, but
not.
in Amsterdam they were.
Well, they were
like,
high, so.
Yeah, so was I.
Goals. Sorry, Joe. Please don't listen to this. Should I cut that out? Do I cut that out?
Probably.
But
There
it
was a lot of weed.
So good.
Yeah.
No, I'm leaving it. Sorry, Joe. He knows. Joe knows that you got rickety wrecked
Yeah.
in Instagram.
You don't just like go to Amsterdam and look at the fucking canals.
You do.
Look,
You
you
look
go
at
through the canals looking for a coffee shop to get some weed from.
And then you go looking at just the canals. But when you're high as fuck.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah.
that's
So-
the potty. Thanks for telling me the story. I liked it.
Oh, yeah. So, rate it on a scale from better than the last one, or like
I
which
think-
one did you like relate to more? I feel like
I like this one better, like these type of like open-ended like mystery ones.
really.
Yeah, because they're very spooky and it makes me scared, you know, because like that could happen. Like I could get murked. I've got a lot of enemies.
Right.
Like people don't like me, so like I need to know what I should, like what I got to be worried for.
Yeah, we need to finish our if I go missing files.
Yeah.
Yeah, if any of you don't know about that, Crime Junkie, hello. On their website they have like an actual like form that you can print out.
Yeah, we need to
And-
fuck that up.
Yeah, we need to fuck that up so hard. And it's just like all of your information in case you were to go missing, so people can get into like your
Right.
social media accounts and stuff like that to see if you've been active or talking to somebody strange.
Right.
So
But with
that
us,
was
like I
fucking
basically
horrifying.
tell you everything, like what I'm doing that day.
Right. Because we do our vlogs,
Uh-huh.
so it's kind of like
Yeah, Haley and I send each other videos on like Snapchat and
every single fucking morning.
Uh-huh.
And you're like, oh, hey.
be like, I'm doing this today, blah blah blah.
Because we're strange. Also, our Snapchat streak has literally never been stronger.
No, never.
We are killing it.
Yeah, we are really.
For fuck's sake. And because literally 26, every single day of that 26 has been a vlog day.
Yes, every day. So we send vlogs for 26 days straight.
For 26 days straight. That's insane. We have a mental problem.
Yeah.
Several, I think.
Yep.
Okay, so that's it for the potty. Until next step.